So then this lawyer goes and actually files a complaint in the court system. So now you're being served with a legal case in the court. How did you feel when you found out that you now have to go to court over this?
I was thinking, first of all, some women really go in. I explained to you like how women are controlling donors. Like if you say like, I'll help 10 families, they will like start to, no, I want you to limit to 5. Or if you say, I help in this city, or you could. And there's certain, like in some of the women, there's sort of like a jealousy or like like they want to have it, it's my exclusivity. And I was thinking like, this is the extent they will go to. They will go into, it doesn't matter, a Netflix documentary, maybe something else. They will not stop until they get some sort of revenge. Like, I want it to be exclusive, and it's not, I'm gonna, like, get back at you. Like, I'm going to punish you in some way. That was the first. And secondly, I was thinking, well, this foundation, they have like a philanthropical agenda. They are here to, it was my estimation, to like stand up for the rights of donor children and for recipients and donors. That was my understanding. But they have never, ever invited me for a mediation. Like, hey, we have some concerned women here. They contacted you before, and you would say that you will not be interested in a meeting because you said you already stopped in donating. So, okay. But they will never, like, first, like, hey, look, we have this. Can we, like, intermediate between you? No, they were, like, the ones that were pushed for the court case. And I got, like, it wasn't on my phone, like an app, like, ploop, and it was, like, from this lawyer. And, like, you have 2 weeks' time to respond to this. We want this. And like, what is wrong? What's going on? And the third thing that I was thinking was like, this is something that Netflix has helped organizing.
Oh, because the Netflix documentary was already underway?
In January, I had a meeting with George Allott, I think his name. He invited me to have a conversation, and he would tell that he would start the Netflix document. Or like, he would be very vague first, like we want to do an informative, worldwide, like super vague. And I say, well, maybe I can help. And then he said on the meeting, it will be Netflix, 3-part about you. And then I say, I'm not going to do that. Netflix is very sensational, and my donor children will suffer from this.
Okay.
And they do. I get now phone calls from mothers from Lyon, from my recipients, and they are like flooding to me, like, this is insane. But back to
the court case.
Oh yeah, the court case. So I think that this was like the first try. Okay, if he's in with us, we don't need a court case. This is my estimation. I have no evidence of this.
So you think that Netflix pushed some of these women to do a court case in order to create a more exciting documentary?
Absolutely.
Aha.
Because John and Joyce and Nicolette, I was on very good terms with them. Suddenly, when I heard about the Netflix documentary, they changed. They started to call me narcissist, egoist, liar, especially John and Joyce. I was like, where is this coming from? And I think that Netflix needed a court case to be able to make a documentary, because you have
to do the ending. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that in the United States, you need like at least some news or some event to, but it's my estimation. I have no evidence, but this is my opinion.
Okay, so you get served this paperwork and you have an upcoming trial. But leading up to the trial, according to the documentary, a lot of the women are concerned that you're still donating sperm. And one of the women who actually used you as a sperm donor pretended to be a new woman, a potential client. She went and got a new SIM card, placed in one of her old phones, created a fake Instagram account. and she started to correspond with you, and you became kind of flirty with her. And in the process, you agreed to be a sperm donor to her. This was before the trial. And they used screenshots from this exchange to speed up the trial. What do you say about this?
Look, I have dealt with recipients, with women, day in, day out for 17 years. So I can clearly sense when I get a fake request. Meaning that I had from the start, I understood that this was not a real recipient. Trying to get some information, or I was just going along with it. And she will be like, she asked me hey, I'm looking for a donor. And I had, for myself, I said I stopped donating new recipients unless somehow, some way, somebody knows about the number and is okay with it. So a handful of people over this 5 year would have contacted me, and with some I would say, okay, I'll help you. But it was really a handful. Was really not concerning, or the amounts that I helped before. So there was no urgency at all. But I was understanding that this was a fake account, because like I say, 17 years, day in, day out, I know how recipients write. They wouldn't write like this. And then I would explicitly tell her what I thought about the Netflix documentary, because I wanted to sort of give my opinion, and just for the other women that were taking part, that they were getting into. I say, I think they're not smart into participating in the documentary. It was very harmful for the children. She started then suddenly, because I wasn't responding to her, she sent me a college girl picture. I'm totally not into that kind of girls. So they didn't really do a real good research what I really like in a woman. And then she started to, it was really a catfish operation. She started to say oh, I'm a lingerie photographer, and then I like to so cheesy, And I was being polite, because if you're oh, I was okay, oh, haha, nice. And then I stopped, and I had two times they tried it. They show a picture of her in underwear or something. I was politely responding, oh, that's nice behind. And
Right. Well, they use these screenshots, and Donor Kind Foundation filed a civil lawsuit against you. You got served a subpoena. But the court date got delayed because you were traveling in Kenya.
Yeah.
Now, some of the mothers discovered a Facebook group in Kenya. So there's this Kenyan clinic that basically was looking for European donors for 2-week trips. They would fly them out, pay for the hotel, the flights, the meals, everything else like that. And the donors had to provide 6 collections. And there was a Facebook group around this. And there was a guy on there called the Lion of Mombasa. Now, you said in some of your videos that the lion is your favorite animal. I mean, you have hair kind of like a lion and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So certain people, and this is where it gets a little vague in the documentary, certain people said that you're the Lion of Mombasa. Other people said you're not the Lion of Mombasa. Are you the Lion of Mombasa?
No, I've never been to Mombasa. I have never donated in the clinic. I found out, I watched the documentary, and I was looking okay, this is clearly going on there. I was seriously, I went to Kenya because I wanted to avoid the winter depression, the bad weather, to say. I'm not depressed, but I wanted to be in the sun. And Kenya and Tanzania, I was familiar with Kenya because I've been there before. I've been to Uganda. And it's on the same time zone. So it is a perfect location if you want to avoid the winter. It's not expensive. You're close. You have the beach. But I didn't go to Mombasa. I had a few days in Kenya, and then I went to Tanzania, and I stayed the holiday in Tanzania. You can see the videos that I made are only in Tanzania. They're not made in Kenya. So I didn't know that there was a clinic like that. You can ask the clinic. Go ahead, call them, ask for CCTV footage, anything. I haven't been there.
You weren't there. Yeah.
They would also. I think the groups and the lion is created after the news that I was in Kenya. Because these other donors, there are like a few donors. Some of them I've known because Kyle, for example, he's on many of these shows. And I've heard about Joe Donor. But this Anthony, I don't know. He's a horrible person.
Well, yeah, because there was like emails that got released where some of the donors saying they want to bleach Africa, and it was almost like a very racist sort of thing that they were trying to sort of push that they were connecting you to.
Yeah, of course. I knew if it was Netflix, it will be like there will be like something like this, like in the documentary, because that's entertainment media. There has to be like the race conflict, and even though like this Anthony said something like that, with I have nothing in common, and I distance myself from this guy like Mars from Jupiter. But people think that I said it because that's how media work. They're watching one eye TikTok, the other eye the documentary, because people cannot focus 3 hours on the documentary. And somehow I am linked to this, and it's horrible because I love Africa.
And you have biracial children.
I have 10% of my children are biracial, and I have no.
So you have over 60 kids that are biracial?
Yeah, something like this. Yeah. Like Asian, Muslim children, Hindu,